All right, guys. I hope you guys are having a great Friday. I hope that you guys are paying attention to what happened to non-farm payroll. So for non-farm payroll, like I said, it was going to be bad for U.S. But when 9 a.m. hit for ISM and the market manufacturing and all the other economic data releases was half was positive and some were negative. But they took the positive part, so that's why the U.S. dollar index rised up. It wasn't as much of a spike that I anticipated because there was some red news and the retracements were there, and so that is by far the only non-farm payroll that I noticed so far that didn't go that didn't stay with the downtrend. So U.S. dollar index was ended up with the Friday being positive for U.S. dollar index, even though gold is up as well. And so, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if U.S. dollar index tries to regain itself after Labor Day. There's no point trading on holidays, and I'm gonna jump right into this. Some people were asking, how do you define your own forex trading skills, and how do you define what your niche is in trading, and how do you uh, know exactly what you want to trade on. And there's different things to take a look upon. It all comes down to the way you look at forex trading and the way how you discipline yourself. And I'm gonna go back to into money, the finance part, is because most people, I've been getting a lot of news feed on most people looking at someone's live account, someone's live account, and they would be like, hey, this guy's making this much money. He flipped an account. He went from 200 and made like almost 20,000. He went from 500 making almost 50,000. And it's cool to see people do that stuff. I'm not gonna lie, it's really cool, and it's really awesome when you do it too. But is it consistent? I don't know if it's really consistent. I mean, unless you've been a trader for 5, 10 plus years and you know exactly what you want to flip an account for. Usually, if you try to flip an account, it just comes down to one bet on stacking on one currency or betting one big lot on one currency. One, like, I'm talking about one currency pair. And so that's the only way I see it for flipping the account. Now the thing is that people need to understand that you cannot do exactly what those people are doing right away. And people really have high expectations of making big results. You know, like it like I had some really high expectations when I first started. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put $100 in. I'm gonna make 1,000 in one day. It didn't happen. I made like $10 in one day. You know, I didn't know any better. I didn't know what lot sizes to go with. I didn't know exactly what to trade off of, and I didn't know how to read charts back then. I didn't know anything about the economic calendar. I didn't know anything about investing.com, all that stuff. And so you had to define, you know, what currency pairs you're going to trade off. And I'm going to go back to the money part because this is the most crucial point. People want to make money in forex, but people don't know what to make every day. And back on that Sunday video that I talked about, that Sunday free forex education video that I talked about, you have to know exactly how much you want to make per day, per week, per month. You got to have long term goals, like what you want to make in 3 to 6 months. If you plan on quitting your job, if you plan on making this a professional career, replace your full time income and make sure that you can stay at home with your kids. And so you have to define that. And if you can't define your finances, you're going to struggle and keep struggling until you can figure out what you're satisfied and what you're content with and then you can move on to flipping an account, and then you can move on to to bigger lots of trading. And I can't stress this enough. And I'll tell you, this book here, I'll tell you the first chapters that I read. It wasn't the first chapters in the beginning. It wasn't. I'll show you guys. So, where is the first chapter? So, on part 4, on the section, executing a trading plan. This section talks about how to manage money, place orders, how to manage your trades, setting a stop loss, keeping an eye on the financial markets. Here, chapter 16 is another good one to take a look at if you have this book. Closing the position and evaluating your results. It's another interesting chapter to take a look at because I also highlight, it talks about, you guys can see this, it talks about long-term, medium-term traders, short-term traders. I highlight the main important key points of the paragraph here, and it's very important. And also, I also read this chapter as well, the 10 successful habits of currency traders, trading with a plan. You can't just go in and trade and expect to make big profits right away, especially with very little experience. And if you're relying on signals, then I don't really know how good our signals are because I don't rely on signals. That's why it's best to teach someone to trade Forex than to just pay a service for signals. And it goes back to the same philosophy is, same principle of I would rather teach a man how to fish than feed him fish for the rest of my life. It brings a lot of weight on you when you're trying to put signals out there for people. It talks about 10 rules to trade with stop loss orders. Okay, 10 rules of risk management on chapter 18. Let's see here. I have highlighted. This is by far page 315 and 314. This is what I read the most out of this chapter. Trade with a plan, stay on top of the market, trade on the edge, and take profit regularly. Chapter 19 talks about the 10 great resources. They have a list on this chapter, on chapter 19, on what to look for, websites, other books to take a look at, the top professional traders, what they do, some insights on what they think trading is good for a new beginner that's coming into currency trading. And so I'm not saying that this book's going to make you rich, but it'll give you the necessary fundamentals if you read those chapters, the section 4 of chapter 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And those are the first chapters that I read first. And then I went back to the beginning because the beginning talks about the news feed, the economic data releases, what affects the currency pairs, what currency pairs are opposites, what they correlate each other, and how the markets shift. And what happens if U.S. Goes to war with North Korea? All that, they did talk about all that other stuff, and so it's very another important subject to talk about. But I talked about that in the beginning, and the most important thing to pay attention to is the U.S. dollar index, and what the Trump might say, and what the Feds might say, and and if there's any geopolitical tensions between any countries against U.S. that might spark a war or any tensions along with that in the economy. Uh, Finances is pretty crucial because it's pretty hard, like myself as well, to define what is good enough for the week, what is good enough income for the week. And if you just take a look at what you have for your expenses and your bills, and if you look at your full-time job or your part-time job, and you you just have to calculate the math, the basic math fundamentals of adding and subtracting. Okay, if I make 2,000 a month at my job, and my bills are, 1,000 a month, then I have 1,000 left of whatever to do. And this is basic math that you can calculate and see how much you really need to make in order to stay home, in order to work from home, in order to be able to live a comfortable lifestyle. And then you can gradually build upon the account and make it go bigger and faster. Also did a sheet here. Trying to go back. I don't know where I put it. Oh man, come on. Where did I put this sheet? I had a sheet that I'm going to start. For those of you that are watching, I had a sheet. I'm going to do a 30-week challenge for myself. I haven't started this challenge yet, but I'm going to show you guys what I am going to start on once I find the sheet here. Oh, I freaking put it on the wall. Hang on. Oh my god. Well, I just got back. I'm pretty much done with classes. Okay, cool. Here we go. So, I'm going to put myself on a 30-week challenge. My wife wanted me to do this. She wanted to see how consistent I can be. Because there are days that I'm not consistent. So, because like I said, I'm a really high risk, aggressive trader. She wanted me to implement some sort of consistent profit strategy, whatever. And I said, no, I'll do a 30-week challenge, which is 7 months and 2 weeks. So in 7 months, 2 weeks, I'm gonna deposit. Like I said here, I start with 1,000. The weeks here, I make 1,000 a week. My weekly goal is to make 1,000 a week. Also to take half the profit, which is 500. And so if I start with 1,000, I'll be making in 30. So I'll be making 30. So like I said, you take 30 weeks times 1,000. That's 30,000 total profit. 15,000 of withdrawal, because that's half of what you withdraw. And it's 30 weeks of consistent profit, 7 months and 2 weeks. And then at the end, your total balance should be 16,000. Because remember, you started with 1,000. You pulled out 15,000, which is half of your profit. And you have the 15,000 left. So with the 15,000 plus the 1,000 that you started at, 16,000. And that's doable. I'm doing this as soon as what did I say I was gonna do it? Either at the end of this month or the starting of October. I wasn't for sure on doing it right away, and so because my school schedule is just non-stop, morning to late afternoon, plus I got a couple night online classes that I just added on so I can graduate earlier, and so I'm trying to rush myself as much as I can for this semester so I can so I can coast with less classes in the springtime, because in the springtime trading is a lot better, and trading um, is a lot more volatile. So there's a lot more pips that's moving, but like I said, it's a lot better than the summer. And so I'm trying to beat myself for this semester so I can be more active on YouTube and the forex trading with you guys. And so this is a 30-week challenge that I am gonna start. I also wrote down a year at 1,000, which is 52,000 in total profit, because you take 52 weeks is a year. 52 weeks is a year times 50, yeah, times your 1,000 that you make per week, so that's 52,000. 26,000 withdrawing profits, because that's 50% of what you withdraw, and then you'll end up having 27,000 left in the live account balance, and that's just starting with 1,000. That's, like I said, I'm going to start with 1,000. The broker won't be FinPro. I will probably go with FX Choice, because that way I can see that I don't have a matching bonus, and that I can go off of the real money that I put in. So I'll probably go with FX Choice here, and I won't be going with FinPro. I still have the live account with FinPro, but I've not been really active trading, and I haven't even traded today as well. And so, and then if you do at 2,000 per week with consistent profit for a year, it's 104,000 per year, 52,000 withdrawn, which is half of that, and then you end up with 53,000 left in the live account balance. And so that's just a difference from making 2,000 per week versus making 1,000 a week. And this is just a sheet that I just made last night, and me and my wife, we've been talking about how consistent can I be making this kind of money. And once you write it down, you set the plan, you set the agenda, you set the task, you don't change anything. I remember when I'm setting up my own schedule, and I set up my own daily routine of trading. I would try to be consistent a couple days, and then all of a sudden I would just try to flip the account the next day for no reason. And so there will be days where you make a lot of money, where you can maximize your profits, but it's not every day. And like I said, the most profitable days is Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. I have it up here, and then Friday morning. But then Friday morning can be a very volatile. Well, usually Friday is a very volatile day, and it ends up reversing on you or ends up retracing on you, just like what happened today for non-farm payroll. After it hit down, U.S. dollar index regained itself, and it was still positive at the end of the day, even though gold was still up too. So that's why it's really hard to work with, with pairs like that on a day like that too. So like I said, you have to really, really focus on how much you really want to make, and you have to look past that. You will not make as much, as some other people, and you can't compare yourself to other people. You cannot compare your account to their account. It's cool to see snapshots of people making a lot of money. It's cool to see live videos of people making a lot of money. That's great. But at the end of the day, it comes down to what you can do. It comes down to exactly what you can afford. It comes down to how much work you're willing to put in to be successful in trading Forex. And so, I don't know how long this video was, but I hope it wasn't that long. And so, like I said, finances is really a key topic to talk about, because a lot of people have really high expectations with very little work, and you can't do that. And you have to be willing to sit down, stare at charts. If you can't stare at charts, you got your phone on you. You can look at the charts on the MetaTrader 4, MetaTrader 5 app, or whatever app you're looking at. And you have to understand what currency pairs you're going to trade off of. And then, like I said, you can flip an account with one currency pair. It's not hard. You just have to do one big lot, or you just have to stack positions on it, top on top of another. And and then, like I said, if you have this book, I mean, does not, it just makes it better for you to understand the last chapters, because that way you can build your momentum, your belief, your self confidence. You create your environment of being more positive. That way you can have the discipline to make it happen. And that's pretty much it. Like I said, the 30-week challenge, I probably won't do that until, like, it has to be a new month, and I'm still trying to. It's cool. It's Labor Day weekend. I got Monday off, but there's no point trading on a holiday, especially for the U.S. pairs. I think the only thing that's worth trading is Australia and New Zealand for that day during Sydney sessions and Tokyo sessions overlap. That's all that I could think of. Um, and then, other than that, that's pretty much all I got. Like I said, you really have to, figure out your finances and understand how much you want to make. If you say you want to make $100 a day, it's $20 an hour. It's 5 hours of your time making $20 an hour. But you can literally make $100 in a matter of seconds. But it just depends how much you want to bet on how much your lot is. And I'm not gonna lie, when I made that $100, I thought, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make more. I'm just gonna let it ride. I'm gonna let it swing. Next thing you know, it ended up being less than $100 because I should have cashed out. The trend was done, and you have to understand that when the trend is done, going up or going down, then you just cash out. And even when it spikes down or spikes up, it can also retrace itself, and you have to understand that that critical time that you have, that you really want to cash out. And if you don't cash out, then you know the risk that you're taking by not cashing out right away. So that's pretty much self-explanatory. You have to understand what you want to trade off of, how much you want to budget, how much you want to make per day, per week, per month, long-term goals, short-term goals. Do you want to make a career out of this? You got to define your own trading style. And are you really disciplined enough to keep consistent and persistent in what you're doing? And so don't have high expectations right away, because that means you're going to shoot yourself down and be more negative about it, and you don't want to go down that road. You can't be negative all the time. You gotta find something what you're really happy about and what you want to pursue. So that is pretty much all I got for you guys. Like I said, there's no point of trading on Monday. It's Labor Day, and I hope you guys have a great weekend. And I will let you guys know when I start my 30-week challenge on the consistent 30-week challenge there. So we will see. I will start with 1,000. It will be with FX Choice, and that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys have a great weekend, great Labor Day, and I'll see you guys next week.